All season long, I've been asking you to choose the best shot from each professional tournament, just so I could make this the shot of the season video, where we take all the chosen shots and work out which of them is the shot of the season, as usual by recreating all of them as accurately as possible, and then of course playing them in the fewest possible attempts. The season began with the Championship League, a tournament a lot of players don't take too seriously, and by the look of this, Mark Williams might be one of them, as he casually cuts the blue in along the cushion, playing the cue ball off the top cushion for perfect position on the pink. This allowed him to go 2-0 in front of Connor Benzine, and they'd eventually end up with a 2-all draw. Mark would eventually do quite well in this tournament, but it was eventually won in the end by Ali Carter. This is an incredibly thin cup, but the good news is I only have to pot it, and I should be going somewhere near good position on the pink, because by getting it thin enough like that and it's dropped in, it'll come back down the table at roughly the right angle. Possibly I just potted it a little bit too thick there, but I still ended up in good enough position on the pink to pot that, so I'm taking it. With the Championship League over, the season began properly in Shanghai for the Shanghai Masters. In the first round, Tom Ford wasn't sure how to get this pink safe, so he just doubled it the length of the table for the frame. However, he still lost the match to Xi Wei by 6 frames to 3. A big problem with this shot is avoiding the double kiss. I'm using right hand side and backspin to try and get the cue ball out of the way faster and help the pink square up off the cushion so I can get it closer to the pocket. I haven't got too close so far, but this looks quite good. I've definitely got that a lot quicker than I was expecting. The Xi'an Grand Prix saw world champion Kyren Wilson face off against Judd Trump in the final, and this snooker made a big difference towards the end of this match, as Kyren could only see the edge of the brown but still managed to get the cue ball around the table in behind the blue. This saw him go on and win the frame, and then he'd eventually take the match and therefore the tournament by 10 frames to 8. This is definitely one of the toughest shots to get right of the season, because a lot of it is speed. I seem to have the line roughly right here, the cue ball's going behind the blue, but I'm also going to have to find the perfect line if I want the white to come right up behind the blue, rather than just end up somewhere near it. This looked really good, but the spin on the cue ball just took it wide off the top cushion, so I need to get even closer than I had before to the corner pocket to actually get through to the blue, and obviously not like that going off. And the right hand side I'm putting on the cue ball is making it difficult to judge the angle properly. If I hit it a bit too hard or a bit too soft, I hit the wrong amount of the brown, and like this I don't get anywhere near it. So I've got to get the spin right and hit the right part of the ball to start off with, and this looks pretty good. I've hit the jaw here, but I've still gone in behind the blue, and I don't think I'm getting any better than that. I can already tell this Stan Moody shot from the Saudi Arabia Masters is going to be one of the toughest to recreate in this video, as Stan pots the red at speed down the cushion, but also screws the cue ball on and off the bulk cushion back up the table for the right side of the blue. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to screw the cue ball back that far, let alone pot it down the cushion at speed. Stan would eventually lose this match by 4 frames to 2, and this is of course the tournament where Mark Williams narrowly lost out 10-9 to Judd Trump with a last-minute Judd Trump clearance. I think I've been a little bit unfortunate with this one so far, as I've been close on a number of different occasions, but it's just rattled and stayed out rather than rattling and dropping in. And that's purely because of the speed of the shot. I'm having to hit this more or less as hard as I can, and the fact I'm having to stretch over the yellow isn't really helping things as well. And that's a great example because it's not possible for me to play it any more accurately than that. I've just got to hit it somewhere near there and hope I'm lucky enough for it to drop, because I can't judge the small millimeter difference between it going in and missing, because when I'm stretching across it like this, playing with a lot of side spin, I can't be 100% sure where I'm hitting the red. I'm even miscuing and pushing a few of them straight into the cushion because I'm not able to push my cue through when I'm stretching like this properly. Even though it's frustrating, I don't mind missing this one a lot because it's one of the toughest shots of the season. And that was so incredibly close to going in. Let's see if I can just get it a bit better. Yes, and I've missed the yellow this time. I've gone the wrong side of the green, but I'm still on the right side of the blue. That's a lot better than I could do it last time. Just in case you haven't seen me miss enough pots down the cushion, we've got Mink Nutcharut in the English Open now, who's potting the red down the other cushion. Maybe that'll be easier. Hopefully it will anyway. The cue balls screw back twice across the table, and there's a friendly kiss on the yellow. Mink would go on to lose this frame, but would eventually win the match by 4 frames to 2, and the tournament would eventually be won by Robertson in the final. This is going to be the same problem again, really, except for the fact the red's not going to be quite moving at the same speed when it hits the back of the pocket, so it should drop in easier. Yet that rattled a bit and dropped. I've nearly cannoned the yellow as well, so that's a pretty good attempt. Up against the Tom Ford shot from earlier, we've got Wakelin at the British Open, who's not just playing a double, he's playing a plant into a double in the middle of a 147 maximum break. It's the frame ball as well, so had he have missed this, he could have lost the frame from it. But obviously he didn't, and he went on to make the maximum, and eventually won the match by 4 frames to 1. The tournament would be won in the end by Selby. When I saw the red drop on my first attempt, I thought finally some luck in this video, but unfortunately I hit the shot a bit too hard and the cue ball just went out of position on the black. So I'm having to try again, and I'm getting close to potting the red on a few occasions, but unfortunately I'm just not quite getting it to drop in the pocket. This is not bad, but again I've hit the far jaw. As far as I can tell, this is all about setup, because once I get the reds in the right place, I get fairly close to the pocket each and every time. So I've just got to get them in the right place. This looks good and I'm on the black. Which of these was the cheekiest double though? Both shots get 5, and most seasons Tom Ford could be pretty confident of winning with this shot. However, a plant into a double in the middle of a 147 has got to take it, as Wakelin is this year's winner. Guodong is struggling like crazy at the Wuhan Open to get over the line and take his first ever ranking event win, as Xiao keeps coming back at him, but this snooker makes all the difference and effectively wins him the match. He'd win it by 10 frames to 7. It's quite a difficult shot to judge, digging down off the cushion like this. You've also got to get the red the right side of the blue, so you've got to play the line about right, but at the same time you've got to do that anyway to get in behind the green. I'm struggling to get the speed of the shot, keep getting into it a little bit too much or not enough, but this looks a lot better. The reds ended up in the right place as well, so I can't really do much better than that. We're on to the Northern Ireland Open now, which can only mean it's this Anthony McGill shot. Kyren Wilson's left him safe, so Anthony tries to pot the red and screw back down the table. Obviously he's expecting the red close to the corner pocket to help, but Anthony just pots it clean and would eventually win this frame with a 112 break. But it was Kyren who wins the match overall by 4 frames to 3, and Kyren would eventually go on to win the tournament in a match once again against Judd Trump. Probably because of the proximity to the cushion, I'm not getting as close with this as I have been with previous shots in this video that were slightly similar, but that one's gone in straight away as soon as I got close to it, so it looks like I'm having a bit more luck with this one. Chris Wakelin's made it all the way through to the semi-final of the International Championship, where he plays this excellent blue, punching the cue ball around 2 cushions to get in position on the pink he needs to win the frame. From here, he'd narrowly win the match against Guodong by 9 frames to 8, and would lose out in the final to Ding Junhui. Well, I think you can see what the problem is here. Even when I hit it really hard, I'm about 3 foot short, so I'm going to have to try hitting it even harder. And that means I might miss the pot, or like there, I might just hit the wrong part of the cue ball and not quite get on the right position for the pink. This looks pretty good though. It's gone in hard a lot quicker than I thought I'd get it, and I've landed perfectly in position on the pink. Okay, stop. Who was it who picked this Mark Williams shot from the Champion of Champions? You could have literally had anything, but you chose this fluke that allows him to take a 3-0 lead against Neil Robertson. So I've got to try and attempt to play it. Now, once again, I'm not going to care which pocket I fluke the red into. It'd be nice to get it in the same way as Mark, but I don't have to next year to make this video, so I think any pocket it goes in, I'm going to be happy with. Mark would eventually win the final in the end against Guodong. The problem with this shot is the blue is in the way, so it's not like a normal snooker. You have to stun the cue ball into the cushion to make the correct angle, and as you can see, if you put a bit too much backspin or a bit too little on the cue ball, then you don't actually hit the red. I'm struggling to get it right, although every time I am hitting the red, it does seem to be getting fairly close to a pocket, so hopefully fairly soon I can hit it in a way it goes in. I've been close to the middle pocket a few times, so I'm going to take it like that in the corner as it's gone in. This is a Neil Robertson shot from the UK Championships that nearly destroyed my table last time, as I kept miscuing, trying to screw the cue ball back around 2 cushions like Neil and get the black out of the way of the red. This allowed Neil to go on and make a 107 break in this frame, and he'd eventually end up losing the match by 6 frames to 3 to eventual tournament winner Judd Trump. I discovered on my first attempt I couldn't quite play this with a regular cue ball, but on my second attempt with a magic cue ball I got it just right. Mark Allen is 5-2 in front in the semi-final of the Scottish Open, but needs snookers to take the match in this frame, and this is a pretty good start, playing the cue ball twice across the table and in behind the black. Unfortunately for him, Li Peifeng would hit the snooker from this position and go on and win the frame. He'd then win the match by 6 frames to 5, knocking Mark Allen out, and eventually win the title against Wu Yize. The good thing about this shot is it's very close to being a natural angle. It just requires a small amount of left-hand side on the cue ball to get it to go closer towards the baulk cushion and give yourself a chance of getting it in behind the black. But unfortunately, this just makes it a little bit difficult to get the red to come back up and down straight, and you need it going at the right angle, otherwise you're not going to get the speed right for in behind the black. This looks pretty close, but unfortunately I've just gone the wrong side of the black. I've got to get the speed and line right, obviously, and hopefully I should be able to get it now. This looks pretty good, the speed looks right, and I'm just in behind the black here. That's about as good as I could hope for, really. The weirdly named Snooker Championships saw another close match between Judd Trump and Mark Williams, and Mark was able to win the deciding frame with this shot on the blue. He got the cannon absolutely perfectly, bringing both reds into play. However, eventually it was Mark Allen who took the tournament. Yes, finally some luck, and it's come off straight away. It was unlikely, but I'm taking it. At the Masters, Luca Brecel was able to take the first frame against Chris Wakelin with this excellent shot on the brown. Not only does he pot it at speed down the cushion, but also gets the cue ball back off 2 cushions for the blue. He'd win the frame and eventually take the match by 6 frames to 3, but it was Shaun Murphy who won the tournament in the end. This requires reverse right-hand side, but if I remember correctly, the trick to it was not to put too much on the cue ball. Unfortunately here, though, where I've potted the brown, I haven't put enough on the cue ball and it hasn't come down far enough for the blue. I put a little bit more on it this time, got on the wrong side of the blue, but it's pretty good from where I was. From the Masters to the German Masters and Mark Selby, who's trying to play the cue ball for no reason whatsoever around 3 cushions and plot the black that's not even over the corner pocket. I'm not sure what he was thinking here, but it looked really good, and it looks like this is going to take me quite a long time to recreate it. The tournament was eventually won by Kyren Wilson. In theory, I shouldn't be having too much trouble contacting the black here almost every shot, but unfortunately the shot itself is slightly counterintuitive, whereby the more you hit up the cushion, the further down the table it goes, and it feels like that should be the other way round. And that means every time I get one slightly out, I hit it the wrong way before getting it right. I know that sounds complicated, but the side on the cue ball as well makes it difficult to judge. I'm starting to get the contact on the black a lot better, and I'm getting closer to it, and this looks pretty good. Nope, missed it altogether. Well, at least I'm getting close now, so if I keep hitting the black, it should only be a matter of time before I hit it at the right angle that it actually goes in. It's going to be down to luck. The trick I'm employing is I've worked out roughly the right place to hit the cue ball into the cushion, and I'm just aiming at the corner of the room behind that, where I can see I'm aiming for the same place every time. And the tactic must have paid off because it's gone in. It's Mark Selby once again showing off his knowledge of the angles, this time at the Welsh Open. It's a close deciding frame against John Higgins, but Mark manages to escape from this snooker by swerving around the yellow and creating an angle off 2 cushions to nestle nicely into the reds, not leaving a shot. Mark would eventually win this frame and eventually take the tournament by 9 frames to 6 against Stephen Maguire. I'm struggling to get the cue ball far enough down the table, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to realise why. The reason Mark Selby was playing this as a swerve shot is because he's swerving around the yellow. He's not actually just swerving the cue ball into the cushion. By swerving around the yellow, I actually was able to hit the right red there. I just hit it a little bit too hard, so I'm going to have a couple more goes and see if I can get it better. That's more or less landed on it, a little bit pacey, but it still ended up in the right place. On to the World Open, which means it's the John Higgins shot, isn't it? Hang on, wait right there. How long is this video already?
Well, nearly 20 minutes.
And we're definitely playing this shot?
Well, yes.
But, I mean...
It was voted for.
Oh, okay, so we've got to play all the shots. There's nothing we can do. We've got to... Okay, if you're wondering who I'm talking to, it's a triangle with a wig on it.
Good day.
I've gone that crazy, because I don't think I'm ever going to get this shot. Not only does John pot the first red, he also pots the red he hits as well. I don't even know if I've explained that right, but he screws back down the table at the same time. Basically, I've got to pot 2 reds on the same shot, although there is a red to help the second one in. I'm not sure that's going to work out. John gets it, he takes the frame and eventually wins the match against Joe O'Connor, which is the final, by 10 frames to 6. Yeah, I can talk forever here, I'm never going to get it. When I played this shot the first time round, I was incredibly lucky. I potted both reds on my first attempt, but I'm unlikely to be that lucky again. I did think about just playing the footage from the previous attempt and not actually attempting it again, but I felt like I had to play it in this video. I'm getting 1 red quite a bit. You can kind of see why John played this, because you're likely to pot something on this shot. It doesn't matter how badly you hit it. As long as you play some form of plant and don't actually miscue the shot like that, you're almost guaranteed to pot something. But potting 2 reds is a completely different story. It's only because you play it as a screw shot it allows the red to run through as well, so I have to basically screw back down the table, otherwise I won't have any chance of potting 2 reds. But That's the whole point of this, to recreate it accurately. You can already tell I've run out of things to say about this. I have nothing more to say about it. I was just hoping I would have potted it already, but it's not happening, is it? I think... oh, hang on, I've got it. I was just about to say I'm going to give up. Right, we finally got it to the satisfaction of the Whig Triangle.
Absolute drillage.
So thankfully we can move on to the World Grand Prix, and this is the Neil Robertson shot I couldn't play last time, isn't it? Where he screws the cue ball up and down the table, using the bolt cushion to get back in position on the black, winning him the frame. From here, Neil would actually take the match by 4 frames to 1, and eventually win the tournament. Now, the previous time I attempted it, I was having a little bit of trouble with my tip. I can't remember if it was really worn out or I had a new tip, but it was one of the two. So this time I should be able to play it a bit better, and that doesn't look too bad. I haven't got the side spin on it to get it towards the cushion, but I've got it a lot further down the table, and that's just a huge improvement on last time. Chris Wakelin plays this clever positional shot of the Players' Championship, where instead of just potting the blue in the middle pocket, he screws the cue ball around 2 cushions and pots the blue in the corner, allowing him to get nicely on the pink, where he's able to clear up for 129. He narrowly loses out to John Higgins in this match by 5 frames to 4, and the tournament would eventually be won once again by Kyren Wilson, narrowly beating Judd Trump again. It's taken me a while, but I think I've finally found the right angle. Unfortunately, I've just slipped round the back of the pink, whereas Chris came in front of it, so I need to get in the same position as him, and I've done exactly the same thing again. I just can't seem to get any more side spin and backspin on it. I remember having more trouble last time, but again, I think this time I had a new tip on the cue, and that just made it really difficult. It's definitely on. I've just got to get through the cue ball well enough, and this looks good. I think I'm going a little bit too close to the side cushion here, but definitely got on the right side of the pink. In case you're wondering where's Judd Trump, well, he's here at the Tour Championships. He's got a red that doesn't go, so he plays it in the gap between these 2 reds, which creates an angle to force it towards the pocket. He did line this up first, so in some way he was playing it, so let's see if I can do the same. This tournament was eventually won by John Higgins. I didn't really have a clue what just happened there, but after 20 minutes into this video, it looks like things are starting to go my way. Before we make it to the World Championships, we've just got to find one who's from Washington, D.C. in the United States, which is of course there. At the World Championship qualifiers, Ricky Walden's just missed a simple pink on a clearance to allow him to go on and take the frame. However, the pink runs safe, so he's forced into this safety shot where he's able to get the white tight in behind the black. Unfortunately for him, Zach Surtees escapes from this snooker and goes on to take the frame himself and eventually beats Ricky in this match by 10 frames to 3. That's pretty good. I have got the snooker there, but I want to get it a little bit better than that, see if I can get further in behind the black. All I need to do here is use enough topspin on the cue ball to make it arc towards the top cushion and hold it and slow it down. That's a little bit better than my first one, and as this video is already too long, I'm going to settle with that. And we've done it. We've made it to the final shot from the World Championships. You said we'd never get here.
I'm not real.
But we have. Anyway, returning Ronnie O'Sullivan is able to pot this red down the cushion and give himself a good chance of making the clearance, which he's able to take against Xiao Wei, getting him 1 frame away from winning. He'd win the next frame as well, allowing him to take the match by 13 frames to 9. Obviously, he'd lose out in the semi-final to tournament winner Zhao Xingtong. Well, all the practice from earlier paid off, and I've got it fairly quickly. Not only did you and the audience get the chance to choose every single shot that appeared in this video, you also get to pick a winner by using the link in the description and selecting your shot of the season. And if you want to see some of the best shots from the World Championships and previous tournaments, have a look at these two videos. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website.